Yes, I definitely will do that. Okay, great. As Natalie gets ready to talk, I want to be sure that you don't see us all like the Brady Bunch with a bunch of little teeny pictures. I want to make sure, especially if you're new to this, up on the right side of your screen, you can see where it says gallery view or speaker view. You want to make sure that your computer's in speaker view. So right now, I should be the largest face on your screen, like larger than life, right? But I don't want to say that way. So I want to just tell you a teeny bit about our dear friend Natalie. It was my very first Use Plus conference that I went to 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago. I'd never flown across the country by myself. I'd never left my children, and I sold things at garage sale to be able to go to that conference. But at that conference,
twin sisters. Tracy and I were like, they're exactly like us, and you know, we came together and just had this amazing friendship. But anyway, I love both of you, and I love the entire Use Plus organisation, the entire Use Plus family, everybody that's involved with what we do on a daily basis has been carefully selected by God to do the most amazing work. So just know you're in the right place at the right time. You have so much support in this. It is so much better than a JOB. I'm so grateful to be on here today. And it's quite funny because it's, at the moment it is 7 a.m. in Perth and it's still dark here. We're in the middle of winter, and our winter is, you know, for some of you in America, it's quite warm, but for most of you in America, it's really cold. So we're at about 0 degrees temperature today, and it's chilly. But anyway, I've already been out for my walk, and I grabbed myself a coffee so I could actually connect because it's quite early. I wanted to say thank you so much for having me. It's a great honour and a great pleasure to be speaking to everyone, you know, across the world like I am today. And I know there's not just 488 of you on here. I know that there are large groups of people in home. So I'm assuming there's probably 2,000 to 3,000 of you. So, you know, talk about if I was going to be nervous, I just created it for myself. But anyway, I love the fact that you've all made the time to be here today, because this next 1 hour section is what transforms lives. Now, obviously, our product transforms lives, our business model transforms lives, but this is the core of who we are as humans. And just a little tiny bit about my story before we even start. I started this business a long time ago, 2009. And I've loved every second of this business. Of course, we had our ups and downs, but even on a bad day in the Juice Plus business, it's a great day out in the real world. You know, so I've loved every second of it. I've made some of the best friends I've ever possibly had. And one of my favourite sayings in this business is that, you know, you haven't even met your best friends yet. And that, oh, even when I say it, I get really choked up, because for those of you who are out there, you're feeling alone sometimes, this is an opportunity to actually take you into a place where you can already have an instant family, but you can go and create new friendships each and every single day. So my little story is that I met this beautiful woman called Bronwyn Hunter at a baby expo. And I was there on behalf of the magazine, selling advertising, and I saw this beautiful bright stand with fruits and vegetables, bright colours. I was kind of drawn to it, like you are when you walk past an apple tree and you see a red apple on a tree. You know, you're like, wow, that's food, I'm going to go eat it. So I walked past and I started talking to this beautiful lady. Now, she didn't know at the time, because I didn't reveal it to her, but I was desperately lost. I just had a baby. I was trying to get back into the workforce. I'd taken this job at this parents' paper, and I was trying to sell her advertising, and she was trying to share Juice Plus with me. But what actually happened is we started this beautiful friendship, and she just poured so much love into me, and I'll never ever forget the way she made me feel. And when she asked me how I was, she meant it from a very deep place. It wasn't kind of like a wishy-washy, how are you? It was like a true care statement. Pardon me with my voice today. It's very early, this is what sometimes happens. So, you know, I just felt her, and I felt it was so genuine. And I just wanted to be friends with this lady. So she asked me out for coffee. We went out 4 or 5 times, and we made this great friendship. And she talked about how in her everyday life, what she does is empower women to be well. And I just thought that was a beautiful story. And I started to get more intrigued. And she shared the Juice Plus products with me. I was a little bit resistant in the beginning, but then after 8 points of contact, and you know this, right? Sometimes it takes 6 to 8 points of contact with somebody, but this is, you got to know when to share. And you know, if you're doing the first point when you don't even know someone, sometimes that can be oversharing, and you haven't built enough love, you haven't built enough trust, you don't even know the person's values yet. If you don't know their values, how do you speak into their values? So Bronwyn found out all my values. She found out who I was. She found out my pain point, and then she gave me the answers to my pain. So I started taking the Juice Plus products, and 3 months later, this is my, every time I tell this story, especially to a big group, it just gets me. And I don't know if any of you know that I'm currently in the middle of a 1-week conference here in Perth, in personal development. I've actually got my coaching, teaching and training me every single day for 12 hours a day at the moment. And I am really raw and quite emotional at the moment, really wide up. But she didn't realise what that meant to me. So I went to the doctors, had a routine checkup. And I had been suffering with something called systemic Candida albicans for many, many years, almost 20 years, but 14 years in particular. I kind of cleared it a little bit with a vegan diet, and I was very much into food and nutrition, and I was studying and I was loving life, and my symptoms were not apparent. But every time I had a test, I still had irregular cells turn up all the time. So I thought, right, this is never gonna leave me. It's just a part of me. I've owned that story. And you know, when you own a negative story about yourself, you can create that forever. So I hadn't ever thought about like not owning that story. Anyway, the doctor said, oh, your pap smear is clear. And I said, no, it must be someone else's results because it's been 20 years not clear. And she said, no, it's clear. And I went back for another test and it was clear again. And I just thought, it was my defining moment. It was that moment where I said, this must be working. So I started reading and researching and learning, and I think I sent 1 million emails to Paolo and Lisa Peppel and, you know, head office in the States asking, what is this? Tell me what it is. And I got myself self-educated. I don't know if anyone's ever heard this statement, that if you're not self-educating, you're self-medicating. And what that means is that if you are not learning and growing each and every day, you're going to be checking out. You're going to be checking out every day. You're going to be maybe drinking too much wine, maybe drinking too much coffee, maybe not exercising, maybe eating too much sugar. But if you're self-educating on nutrition each and every single day, if you're self-educating on our product, if you're self-educating on lifestyle factors, you will go out there and be the most amazing human you can possibly be. And then you become the beacon of light for others to join you. So anyway, I learned about the product more and more, and I realised my HPV was gone. I don't know if anyone knows what that is. It's human papillomavirus, which is the base for Candida. That was gone, and then all of a sudden, my Candida wasn't present. And then all of a sudden, I felt better, and all of a sudden I was more connected, and I watched that I wasn't craving all this sugar. And I don't know if anyone knows that Candida albicans actually is a fungal infection that makes you crave sugar. And I had this insatiable addiction to sugar, and I'm not talking about lollies, because that's not how it works for me. How it worked for me is I wanted salt. So I wanted anything salty. So, you know, I would just eat fruit and veg all day long and pretend to be this amazing vegan and then have hot chips. You know, and it was terrible. So this cleared all that up, and I have been Candida free for now 10 years. And I can tell you right now, it was the most amazing feeling, because I'd had endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome, I had had irregular cycles, I had heavy cycles, I was debilitated by this fungal infection, and I thought it was part of me. So my news story for the last 10 years is that I used to have something called Candida albicans, and thanks to the Juice Plus products, I don't have that anymore. However, I want to lay this out for everybody. My story may not be other people's story. This may not work for you. It particularly worked for me because there are a lot of other lifestyle factors involved in this. However, for me, it was kind of like the last piece of the puzzle. And so I'm so grateful. And my business story is really that I couldn't stop sharing this. It was infectious, and I was so enthusiastic about it each and every single day. I was like, I've got to share this with women, especially women with Candida. And that's what I did. And I'm very grateful that I was able to help Tracy. And I was very grateful that I was able to help Carla. And these two girls have become amazing franchisees in Australia with very large teams. I'm very grateful for every single team member that I was able to inspire into a healthy regime and into a business regime as well. So I'm very grateful to those beautiful women in my life, and also now the beautiful men that have come into my life through business. You know, I have an amazing team, and you know, we just had one of our biggest months ever. And it was purely because we've all stepped into this space of really owning health, really owning this product, and we are so grateful every single day that we get to do this. And the reason why I think we're in this space is because Australia's really going through a bit of a GFC, which is a global financial crisis, and people are needing support, love and help. First of all, when you're stressed, your health isn't great, and usually the stress is because of financial worries. So we're seeing some real growth back in our team again, which is amazing. So I just wanted to share that quick story with you, but I want to share with each and every one of you a great way to actually light yourself up every day and be the beacon of light. Because this is a really important thing that I do with each and every single team member that I put on frontline to me, and I also do it for pockets of teams as well. And it's usually when we need a lot of tissues, we need a lot of time, and we've only got, I don't know how much time we've got. We have an hour, girls, or 45 minutes, or half an hour, I don't know. You've got to tell me, because I'll just keep going. But this exercise is profound. So I just want everyone to have their pens and paper ready. I can sing some elevated music where everybody goes and does that, or maybe you're already really organized. I think you probably are, which is great. So first of all, we're going to cover off on 3 topics. We're going to cover off on what are values, and do a values exercise. Second topic we're going to cover off on is what is the difference between your purpose and your heart's desire. In my world, I call it the soul's purpose and the heart's desire. okay? Because I believe they're very different, but when you connect the two, we can have an incredible life, and our business can be incorporated into that. And the third thing we're going to cover often is ego and real self, because I think this is the most important. Once we master ego and real self, we actually become very powerful human beings. So first of all, let's do this values exercise. All right, everybody has got 3 minutes, and 3 minutes only. I'm going to put the timer on. And what I want everyone to do is sit up straight and make your body a real channel for energy. Now, some of you struggle with this, some of the language that I have because of certain values or certain religions or things like that. Please know that this is just a breathing technique. It's not attached to anything. And when I say that is that, you know, we need to breathe every single day, because if we stop breathing after 3 minutes, we actually unwound. So it's actually the #1 food our body needs each and every day. And we sit up tall and we actually breathe through our channel. This is when we feel better, feel calmer, digest better, we get clarity, and we get messages. And for those of you who are really connected to a religion or God, this is when you get stronger messages, when you're clearer. And I find that when people eat a lot of wheat, yeast, gluten, dairy, and sugar, they're not as connected. So I want you to sit up really tall, and I want you to take a big, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And then I want you to breathe it out. Okay, and then again, breathe in. And hold. And breathe out. Now I want you to, on the piece of paper that you have in front of you, I want you to write down every single little thing and big thing that lights you up and that you cannot live without. I want you to stay in your heart space. I don't want you to go into your head. The minute you start to think, oh, what should I write? You're in your head. Okay? So I want you to write down every little thing, and write as fast as you can for 3 minutes, every little thing that lights you up, and every little thing you can't live without. Give you examples. Can't live without my coffee in the morning. Can't live without the beach, salt on my skin. Can't live without, you know, nature, hugging trees. Well, that's me anyway. Can't live without cuddles with my son. Can't live without being present with my little boy. You know, just all those things. Can't live without music. Can't live without travel. Can't live without all these things. Go.
Oh, she did it in. Oh, I know she did. Okay, I'm going to ask you to make I'm going to ask you to make oh, her mama was from Brian Marsh. So now we're going to see the open name. But you have to see her.
Stay in your heart. Don't go to your head. Just feel what lights you up. Don't think of anything. Tap into when you're a little girl or a little boy and all the things that you used to love to do. Think about what you loved to do when you were 6, when you were 7. Think about what you loved to do when you were 13, when you were 21, when you were 30, when you were 40, when you were 50. Think about the things that actually take you away from thinking about the past and thinking about the future. The things that actually connect you to this place of presence, whether it be cross stitch, whether it be knitting, whether it be tennis, whether it be swimming in the ocean, bushwalking, being with your kids, making love, whatever this. Ray, you're looking really, really confused there. Are you struggling with this? And just notice if some of you are feeling like there's stuff coming up for you and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck. I'm finding this really challenging. It may be that you have been spending so much time doing things for others, you've forgotten for yourself. And this is actually the most important exercise that I do with every team member, is that a lot of people get involved in our business because of contribution. And they contribute at such a high level, but if you don't think about yourself, and you don't do the things that light you up, how can you be a beacon of light for others? If you feel adrenally fatigued from serving humanity at such a high level, and you're not serving yourself first, you'll get exhausted, right? And so it's really important to know who you are, and it's really important to actually do something each and every day for yourself. Okay, we're going to wrap that up. And this is the first time we've all done this, and I think some of the leaders can catch on to this anyway and do this with you all on a Zoom call, or I'm quite happy to do just this exercise in a more expanded Zoom call later, at a later date, for those who really want to dive into this, or I can do it for leaders. So what I want you to now, look at this page full of all these words, and you're going to see big categories of things that pop out. So the categories of things like this: travel, spirituality, contribution, personal development, self-care, music, nature, family, relationship, animals, children. You're going to see all of these things come up. Might be charity, all these things, big categories of groups, right? So what I want you to do, and some of you are going to struggle with this for the first time, but please know that that's okay. Okay, we just need to get you starting to think about what you value each and every day. So when you have a look at the categories, so I'll give you an example. When I write things down, I go, Bali, you know, I love traveling to Bali, I love being with the women in Bali, all the you know, kind of beautiful Bengal women on the beach. I've known them for like 28 years, and they're some of my best friends in the world, right? I know them inside and out like they know me. And so when I talk about it, you can hear how I light up, right? And I love spending time with Taj, and I like going and doing all his activities with him. And, you know, so you would assume my values are things like travel, charity, or contribution, and family. And that's the truth. That's my values. That's the first things that roll off my tongue, right? So what I want you to do is see what, you might have 7 or 8 categories, but I want you to really look at those categories and go, what are the things that I can't live without? There'll be 3 top categories that you cannot live without. And what I want you to do is also, can I have a show of hands? Who struggles with this one thing? The first thing they wrote down on their paper is everything about family, because they thought they had to. And this is a huge thing. I want everybody to really just sit with this for a second. When I wrote my list for the first time, I had my greatest epiphany. I went through a whole page of notes over a 7-minute period as fast as I could go, and I hadn't written anything about family. I wrote one thing about time. My top 3 values when I first started this was travel, contribution, and health. And I just all of a sudden went, wow, it shifted and changed everything for me. And I realized that I wasn't being myself. I was, you know, living outside of my values, and I was doing things I had to do each and every day that became this internal burden, rather than doing things that lift me up to raise my energy so I could be the best mother in the world, so I could show my son the light, so I could be Natalie Baldock and be real self. And so he could be proud. And ever since I've made that shift, he has looked at his mama bear and gone, my mum's amazing. I want to do what she does. You know, and now he even gets up at talks and wants to start talking and sharing the knowledge that he's been hearing me say for so long. And he actually teaches and coaches and trains other kids on all sorts of issues and topics. I can hear him having really amazing adult conversations. So he's doing what his mama's doing every single day. So when you have a look and you've got your top 3 categories, this is actually what we call living on purpose. See, when we do 3 things, the 3 things, and this is Tony Robbins teaches this, Dee Martini teaches this, even Jeff Roberti teaches this. You know, when you actually live in your values, you actually live in harmony with universal energy. You're living what God created you to do. So heart's desire is the things that are fun and lights you up, but your soul purpose is what you were born to do. So when we look at these categories, can I have a show of hands? Has anyone had a kind of a little epiphany and think, oh my gosh, I'm not living in any of these. These are the things I love to do each and every single day, but I'm actually not doing that each and every day. And where we see people disconnect and where we see people not happy is that they don't live in any of their values each and every day. And if you live in 1 or 2 values each and every day and you kind of swap them out, then you'll find that you're lit up and you're happy. Because happiness comes from doing what lights you up each and every single day. So that exercise is something that I do with my team, but we do that over a 2-hour window. And we sometimes sit there for 20, 30 minutes writing down values until we cover a whole piece of A3 paper, and so many things pop out. And we have so many conversations around what are the 3 things that really light us up. And so what I want to share with each and every one of you, I'll share a couple of stories really quickly about particular team members. So I had a team member, we called her team member A, because she probably doesn't want me to share this, but she had a really, really hard time for a couple of years in the business because she was trying to be health. She was an ex-nurse and she wanted to just be health because she got it was her responsibility to humanity. But what she really was about when we did her values assessment was that she was a grandma who loved her grandchildren and she loved spoiling them. And she also absolutely loved wining and dining with her husband, and she absolutely loved travel. These 3 things she loved. So what we decided was to create her a whole brand called the Glamour Nanny. And one of her first posts was her with 3 shopping bags on either side, and it said, shopping is exercise too. And it was really funny, and it was really profound shift for her. And all of a sudden she started to attract a whole lot of grandmothers that wanted to retire into the business so they had enough money, but also so they could spoil their grandchildren and have time with their grandchildren. And that shift has made her business explode. And then we've had other beautiful women who are trying to be healthy in the business and trying to do all these things within the business that were outside of their value spectrum. And what we realized was that when we looked at the list of values for this particular franchisee, or her franchisee B, she had a story how she left the corporate world because of panic attacks. And she had moved into the Juice Plus world, and this had lit her up so much, the transition. And what she actually loved to do each and every day was teach, coach, and train women how to feel more empowered and make better choices. So her values were around teaching and education. Her values were around health. And her values were around family. And so what she has done is created an amazing brand called Brave. And it really helps women who are fatigued, adrenally fatigued, and particularly anxious about coming to work every day or not particularly happy in their job, helps them transition into a life of residual income. And so she does these walks called Brave, and she walks every single month and gets a whole bunch of corporate women who just want to talk about how they can transition and how they could actually live a more inspired and healthy life. And you know, Franchise B just talks to everyone about steps to transition, and she talks about what she did and shares the story. And this is transition to business. And so these are the sorts of things. Now for me, when I travel and go to Bali, and I post some things about what I'm doing with the women in Uluwatu. I have a social impact project called Uluwatu Magic, and I help women with medical, dental and sanitary supplies where they don't necessarily have it. There's enough money at the end of the month. And when I do a lot of that, I am a beacon of light, and people come and say, how did you get to this place, Natalie? How did this come about? What is this charity about? How can we serve? How can we help? And it connects me to all these contribution-based women. And so, you know, for me, it's like I really had to identify who I was. And then when I sat in real self, and gave everybody else permission to be real self. And so we have all these amazing women doing business slightly differently now, and it sits better with them. And we see so much growth when people are passionate about what they do and they feel they have something to contribute to the world. And so I love this exercise because I think when we understand what soul purpose is, it can sometimes feel like, who am I, who am I, who am I, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing next? How do I get there? You know, I know this is my purpose, but, you know, it's not clearly defined, and your values clearly define your purpose. But where it becomes extremely profound is that heart's desire, which is a sidestep and an offshoot, is what we do that is playful, and what we do that is fun, and what we do that is creative. And this is where I started to take the next step up. I leveled up spiritually. I leveled up my heart, and I realized that when I became so contribution focused, doing things for the women, doing things for my Juice Plus business, and that was 10 years, what I realized was that where was I having fun? Like I was doing so much for other people and getting quite fatigued. And I realized that what I love to do, ever since I was a little girl, is paint. So I went to this healer. This is a funny story, right? I went to this healer and she sat me down on this chair, and she sat in front of me and she pulled a chair like a centimetre apart or an inch apart, and she wrapped her legs around me, and I was like, oh, this is really awkward. I just thought, this is crazy, who is this woman? And she just channeled into my energy, and I was like, okay, now this is getting awkward. And she said to me, okay, session over. And I said, oh. She said, you just need to paint. And I was really upset. I walked away and thought, well, I can't believe I just paid for that session. But I went home, and there was a knock at the door an hour later, and it was my best friend. And she walked in the door with 2 bags in her hand. And in these 2 bags, she had canvases, paintbrushes, and paints. And I said, what's this? And she goes, I just thought it was time for you to paint. And I got this beautiful message, and I was like, okay. So as soon as I started to trust in the process and I started painting, and that's my time where I get to check out and do the things that light me up, my vibration raised and energy created within my body. And then all of a sudden I was happier, and I was getting the rest I needed. And all of a sudden I was lit up more and had something else to talk about and more people to connect with. And then all of a sudden my business grew. Because at the end, right, we all become very, very contribution focused in this business, but we also need to do what heart's desire teaches us. So dancing, or making art, or painting, or, you know, it could be drawing, it could be knitting, it could be spending time on the floor with grandchildren, taking your shoes off and walking along the beach for an hour a day. Things that completely just calm you down, but light you up at the same time and give you energy, bring you alive. And so when we identify what our 3 top values are, things we value the most in life, and we find something that's the heart's desire, and we put that together, we can create a career around that. It's See, the thing is, what lights me up the most is what my feet on the sand. And then what lights me up secondly is painting. When I do these two things every single day, I'm very connected to Source. I'm very connected to God. I'm very connected to myself. And so then I got the energy and I've got the power to be Natalie Baldock, to go out in the world each and every single day and share my purpose and share my story and to share who I am as a person. And so I want every day, I think the intention that I had before I jumped on the call today was really maybe to help some of you, all of you, or one of you, just to start to know yourself a little bit better and to start to be wow, maybe the reason why my business isn't moving as fast as I would like it to be is because I'm moving out of my value set. I'm doing what I think is required, but I'm not being myself. And so, you may be sharing your product, you may be sharing your business, but you may be sharing the thing that doesn't light you up as much. You could go from trying to teach health to all of a sudden teaching how women empower women within the business. You could be teaching, things like, well, I tell you what, there's been a lot of people in our organisation that come into our organisation with anxiety, depression, and adrenal fatigue. And we light people up and we love on them so much. And we give them a health product and we give them an opportunity to feel a part of something. And then all of a sudden that conversation is better than trying to tell someone how fruits and vegetables are better for you, And some of you might be, really focusing on the business because you want to drive business, but you're just in love with how fruits and veggies make you feel because you had an amazing epiphany when you started eating better. And when you started supplementing with juice plus, you have to do things that light you up. You have to be your story, but be your real story. And I think this is a very powerful exercise. I wish we had so much more time to do this because I think a lot of you might be sitting there right now and going, I didn't get it. But please know this is just the first time you've heard it and that this can be done over and over and over again. And even I could do something with the girls and we could do a pre-recording that can play for the community and we can do this exercise extended. Okay, let's talk about the last thing. And then I guess I need to know how much time we have. Well, I've been going for 35 minutes. I guess we can talk about this last section and then I can open it up to questions until my time is up. Okay, so this has been one of the most amazing and profound learnings that I've had of late. So I did this exercise where I was told to sit on a chair. And I said, okay, Natalie, what does your head say to yourself each and every day? And I'm like, And it was so hard to do. It was so hard to do because I was thinking, well, there's things that I don't want to say because my ego or my head tells me some horrible things about myself at times. And I said, well, there's so many things my head says, but at the moment what my head is saying is that I'm not enough. Now, how does someone like myself, who's a 100 Club NMD leader, think I'm not enough? Now, if this is me being really vulnerable and real, I don't think there's a single leader in this business that hasn't thought that at one point in time, or who doesn't think that quite often. Because we're just hoping we're doing a good job. We hope we're enough for our team. We hope we're enough for our family. And I think sometimes that can be the driver for success, is that the complete fear of failure. Like you just don't want to fail. So you therefore, drive yourself into success to prove your ego wrong. So here I am being really vulnerable and real. And then he said, okay, I want you to now move over to this chair, and this is your real self. What does your real self say? And I burst into tears because my real self said, you are so beautiful, Natalie. You are a mermaid, you love the ocean, you are so beautiful inside and out. And you are a wonderful heart for so many people around the world. See how emotional I'm getting? Right? So this is where I had a real defining moment. I get a choice to live in my ego or my real self. And so what I want everybody to get out of this small window of communication right now is that the voices in your head are your ego. And the ego has one major purpose, to keep you separate. So the ego will say things like, I'm not like her. The ego will say, I'll never be good enough. The ego will say, I'll never become a leader. So you're always separating, right? The ego will say, I don't dress like her. I don't have as much money as her. The ego will say things like, I'm not a good daughter. I'm not a good mom. And it's separating you from the real truth that we were all born beautiful, wonderful, powerful, with infinite capacity to be the greatest human you could possibly be for humanity. And so I want everyone just to really sit. Some of the chat that happen comes up for them. Because your darkest and deepest chatter is actually your light. So when I say I'm not enough, it makes me drive to be all that I can be. But some of us sit in the story of the ego and say I'm not enough, and they stay there. And they sabotage every single aspect of their life because they've truly, truly listened to the ego for so long. And the ego gets created when one person, one situation in life has happened and they've made a choice that they weren't enough in that moment. And the thing is, if we all knew that those voices weren't real, imagine how powerful we would all be. Every single person on this call right now would be a national marketing director, a 100 Club member. We would all have amazing pods of people, you know, humming and vibrating on a higher level with health and love and passion and creativity and mentorship. And so many of us would be in a different place. So it's really important to identify this. It's such a profound thing to understand, is that the ego keeps you separate. So when you know that voice comes, you go, oh, that's to keep you separate. Oh, I'll never be like her. Well, of course you're not going to be like her. You're going to be like you. And why would you want to be her? She has just as many problems as you do. Just be yourself. So my team in Australia used to be called Team B. And it was be real, be you, be yourself. Lately, I have joined forces with Dr. Tamara Hunter, and we have a very large organisation together called Life Movement. And what we teach in Life Movement is really the principles on how to be yourself at full capacity. And when I play small, I get told. Tamara rings me and says, you're not stepping up as a leader. I'm like, but I am doing so much work. And she says, no, it's not productive. And it's because I can get really stuck in creativity, designing new flyers, creating new events, you know, and I can get really down and dirty with writing and social media and all sorts of stuff. And she'll call me on my stuff. And that's because I have allowed my real self to be vulnerable and real with her. And say, tomorrow I'm having a down day, tomorrow I'm having this, tomorrow, you know, I need to connect back in with me. I need to have a day to myself today with no phone calls. I just need to go and meditate, be on the beach, and then tomorrow I will be back with full force, and I stay true to who I am. And the thing is, what I've learned more so than ever before is that I didn't know who Natalie Baldock was until recently. I was the helper. I was the servant's heart. I was the good girl. I was the kind heart. I was the mum. But that's because that's what I was taught to do. That's what I saw my grandma do. That's what I saw my mum do. That's what I saw everyone do. But real Natalie, and what lights me up the most is that I want to completely be present with women in low socioeconomic demographics, and I want to do God's work. I want to serve women that can't help themselves. And so with that true knowledge of who I am, I drive my business in a more beautiful and organic and flourishing way with more freedom of heart. And what I do is I create this beautiful community, and and my business grows and I'm able to contribute back into that foundation. And the truth to Natalie is that I'm not hard-working mama with drive. You know, that's what I am to the outside world. That's what my ego wants me to be. But what I am is an introvert. I like to be on my own a lot to gain energy. I'm shy. I'm awkward. But I love who I am. I love my quirks. I love my curls. I love the way that I feel when I dance with Taj in the kitchen, and even though I don't like anyone to see me on the outside world dancing. So when I talked about my real self, my real personality, I started to get to know the real Natalie, the vulnerable, real part. There's no, I'm just a little girl like everybody else that has chatter in my head. But I started to be more vulnerable and more real, and all of a sudden I started attracting all these amazing real women that were honest, that were truthful, that wanted to make impact in the world, that wanted to understand great capacity. I started to attract spiritual women. I attracted this beautiful 60-year-old woman who's become like a mother figure to me, and she's helping me identify why I haven't met the man of my dreams. And that was profound, because I'd never ever spoken those words out loud. And so, you know, I just wanted to really share with everybody that to identify ego versus real self is important. To know who you are is important. To be yourself each and every day is important. And when you be you more and more and more, and you're sitting with that new person and you're talking to them and they're telling you their story, and you dive into yours, your real self, and say, you know, I understand to some degree the pain that you've been through. I've also been through a similar amount of pain. But what I can tell you is that when I surrounded myself with these amazing people in our Juice Plus community, for the first time in my life, I saw how humanity is different. How humanity is loving, it is kind, it is supportive. They do raise you up, they do want the best for you. And being like that has allowed me to connect with thousands of women around the world and to be more myself, and to actually say on social media and to say in front of large groups of women that I still haven't met the man of my dreams, and I'm working each and every day on that. And that is something that as a little girl I used to just pretend I lived in a castle with my prince, you know, with my king, and, you know, and it hasn't happened to me. And that's what I'm working on right now. And the more I work on my real self, the more I understand who I am, the more women that are attracted to my real self. You know, sometimes we have masks and masks and masks and layers, and we aren't our real self. And so what I want to say to each and every one of you today, if you do have a business with us, or you don't have a business with us, this is found information. When we were born to become who we were supposed to be. We were born to give back to humanity. We were born to love. We were born to be kind. We were born to learn great things. And some of us have just forgotten that. And this model of our business definitely can be a vehicle for that. If you're not in the business and you're not going to do this business with us, I think find what you love. Find what lights you up. Go do that, you know. But most of you can do what lights you up in this business. You can transform so many thousands of lives and create a ripple effect around the world. And so what I would love to do is set an intention for each and every single one of you today, is that you understand there's infinite possibilities for you, that your capacity is far greater and far bigger and far stronger and more powerful than you could ever imagine. You can do great things. All you have to do is get out of your own way, and that means remove the ego and step into real self. Get out of your own way means get out of the ego. Like that voice that said, I'm overweight, who would listen to me? Well, you say to people, I'm on a journey. And I felt a shift. I want to share that shift with others, and I want to journey with you. Be real. Be real. Don't say, you know, this is amazing. You know, when it's not amazing yet, but you have hope, right? it's so important to get out of your, you know, like, I'll never be hurt. Well, don't be hurt, be you, and say, you know, I used to compare myself to everybody, but I'm going to stop that story. And in this community, it's teaching me not to compare. And I think, you know, this completely has changed myself, which changes my organisation. This truly removing, and now I can go, that thought, that's my ego, that thought, no, that doesn't belong here, thank you very much, but not today, you know, and this is a little thing I've been doing for a long time, but I finally got it. The ego plays a major role to keep you safe. The ego will drive your car without having an accident. The ego will make sure you cook and don't burn yourself. Right? So you need your ego to do hard things. However, your real self sees the adventure when you're driving. Your real self loves the smell of cooking and family time and placing the food. It's the joyful things that the real self loves. And so I think it's so profound to understand this. When you know what lights you up and you do more of that and become a beacon of light, those will be attracted to you like the light. And when we look at quantum physics, we look at chemistry, we look at science, this can be proven that there is an amazing way to actually manage this. If you stay in the ego, and stay in that self, and stay in that self-talk, the vibration of your body becomes lower. Oxytocin and serotonin goes up when you start to see the power in the story. So you go, you know, I was bullied at school, I was bullied at school, I was bullied at school. This has a very negative feeling in the body. But then when you say, I became resilient in school, I became strong in school, I had to deal with big things, and I got through it and made me who I am today, that vibration raises you up. And when you keep seeing the positives in everything that happened all the way through your life, all you do is become the beacon of light and get closer to the power of who you are. You get universally connected, you get closer to God, and He starts listening, and He says, right, good girl, you are on the money, and I am going to reward you. And everybody knows this famous saying, God rewards the brave. You step into action, and all of a sudden you have growth, because God goes, okay girl, we'll make you happy. Okay girl, we'll give you more of what you're vibrating on. And so I love this, God rewards the brave, because when you step into action, you get growth. Now, if you go and do personal development for the rest of your life, I can tell you right now, if you don't do any action, you'll never grow. So action precedes growth. You do the action, you're a little fearful, you get to the other side, and you go, well, that wasn't so bad, and you grow. But if you go and study personal development to go and get rid of your problems, all you're doing is living in your problems. Go and take action, go and serve one person at a time, get the emotional revenue together and grow, and grow, and grow. And even if that person says no, they're just not ready to grow. And that's okay. It's okay. And so I just wanted to say on that note, are you ready to grow? Is it time to get out of your own way? And are we going to stop the self-chatter? We're going to start looking at our values. So I guess I can open it up to questions, but I'm going to let you girls lead this. What do you think, Courtney? Okay, so I think all the girls are there. Okay, right.
So we have more time.
Oh, we do?
Yes, we actually have another 40 minutes, but up to 40 minutes. So there are people asking about the heart's desire and to go into a little bit more about that. And I know before you did, I heard you talk about values before, you gave some specific categories. You touched on it tonight, but I know, like, I made my full list and I'm like, how do I organize this? Like, how do I put this into categories? So maybe you can elaborate on that, and you just go, girl, keep shining.
Okay, so Can I just have a little bit of interaction with people, because I like interaction. It makes me feel like I'm being recognised. I've got daddy issues, right? It makes me recognised. So you know, when you get a lot of personal development, you know you've either got mommy issues or daddy issues. So who here found this exercise so far of value?
Can you see the chat on the side now?
I've got the chat, but there's only 14 messages in there. Like, people are not talking.
Okay, so do you click the chat button at the bottom? Can you do that? Yeah. And there's a chat going on the side, and people are, they're all saying you're amazing, you're awesome, you're valuable. Okay, people, slow down. I don't know if you could see some of the questions. Because if we unmute all these lines, it's going to be pure chaos.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. We definitely need to just work in the chat.
Yes. So everybody's amazing. So do you want to ask a question maybe they can respond to?
Okay, let's talk about how to actually grab those values from your list. I think that's the most important thing, is that if we want people to go away and go, oh gosh, okay, what? I think the most important thing is that ego and real self is really important, and to understand when you hear that voice, that's not real. The real voice is, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're loved, you are gorgeous, you are real, you need time alone to re-energize. You know, you love the ocean, you love the, we know that, that's the most important thing. But the thing is, when we're talking about the G-Spots model and we're talking about living in it well, we need to do what lights us up within the business better. And I mean that by, if I was just doing G-Spots business, it wouldn't light me up. I need to talk about food and nutrition and health and contribution. I could love the family health, the children's health program, we call it Healthy Starts now, the Healthy Starts program. I talk about that, I talk about family nutrition, I talk about the things that light me up. And I also talk about cellular chemistry and cellular intelligence. I talk about the intelligence of the cell and the intelligence of our product and how they meet in the middle. And they're the things that light me up. But I couldn't imagine, you know, somebody like Adam Westwick talking about that. Adam Westwick talks about contribution, massive vision, business, and, you know, empowerment. And that's who he is, right? And we love him for that, because he is in his real truth. And Linda talks about heart-driven women, and that's her focus. And my focus is spiritual nutrition. Right? And so we have become ourselves within the business. And sometimes we're taught to do business in a certain way, and then we take that literally. I can tell you right now, every leader in this business wants you to find your voice and do it your way and become better than them. I have just had a brand new franchisee in my team, right deep down. She's 18 down. She just did 19 customers this month. Because she lives in her truth. She is herself. She is so real and so vulnerable, and that's what makes power. And so the way she has done this, it's really just by being herself and speaking about how this could make women feel long term, the vision of what our product does. She's not trying to sell the power of fruits and vegetables. She's talking about how you feel in the next year or two. She's talking about visionary health, she's talking about long-term health. And the thing is, what I find so fascinating is that it's really just 1 degree shift that can change the trajectory of your life forever. It could be just, I'm going to just paint, and then all of a sudden you're lit up and your business blooms. It could be that you are going to spend more time for yourself meditation. It could be that you're going to stop the self-chatter of ego, and you're going to understand real self, and you're going to give your real self what it needs, and you're going to have real conversations, vulnerable and real conversations with the next person that you meet. You're going to dive into your vulnerabilities with those people and give them a solution. And so it's important to understand these categories. So what you'll see, say if you've got a whole page of things, and you'll see things like bath. I like to have a bath. I love bubble baths. I love having facials. I love walking in nature. So you might think that's nature, and you might think that is self-care. But what happens if you're walking in the forest, or the bush, we call it bush, walking in the forest actually is your self-care. So is that category self-care? You grab all those things, and what you'll see is that you'll start to write a whole bunch of things in chunks. Because you'll be like, family, my kids, my husband, cuddles, travel with my family holidays. And you'll be like, okay, well then family is a category for you. It's not travel. Family is a category for you. But if you write things like, I love being on a plane, I love traveling, I love going to new destinations, I love adventure, well, your next category could be travel. So you have to just intuitively decide what those big categories are, and you've got to really connect to that. You've got to say, well, is travel something I cannot live without? And for me, if I don't have travel in my diary, I can't breathe. I actually feel trapped. So for me, my spirit, my soul, my real self knows that I need to touch lives in my joy space. Because when I'm in my joy space, I'm lit up and I give love at the highest level. So when I travel, this is when I make all my new customers, I make all my new franchisees, this is when I make all my solid connections. Every single best friend I have around the world, I met traveling. Of course, because I'm meeting them around the world. But the best friends, the most amazing friends, like the girls, and everyone around them, and all my girlfriends from Canada, who I just adore, I love them, but I met them in my joy space. I met them as Natalie. I met them as real self. And so it's so important. Like Christianity or spirituality could be a category. Music could be a category, but everyone in your family playing a different instrument and you're singing and you love it and do it every day, it lights you up, it's the thing you love. Right? And people go, oh, how do you do music in Juice Plus? I go, well, you host an amazing event, and at the event, every single time you get someone to sing. And everyone gets that feeling in their heart. They go, oh, it's beautiful. So we actually do these events in Australia. And we just recently had a singer come, and she was angelic. And every single person in that room was tearing up. And that feeling that we left them with is what they have stayed with. They've stayed with that feeling, and that's connected us to each other. And now we're having conversations. This is what we do in our community. This is we give love. It's our responsibility to give love. And so it's important to find whatever you love and try to incorporate that into your purpose. So does that make sense for people? Let me have a look. Okay. Yes, that's a really good point. We cannot survive without the ego, true. Without the ego, we would not drive a car well. We would not step back from the cliff face knowing that there's something over the other side. Our real self would just make us fly because we feel free, right? So our ego is there, but our ego is to keep us separate. Our ego doesn't think we're connected to source. Our ego can sometimes say, you know, God is over there and I'm over here. But we are God, we are love, we are light, we are that. And if we are God, then we are love. We are beautiful and we are powerful and we are incredible human beings. So Renee is saying, I don't really understand your question, Renee, but anyway, can you give an example of how guys can do this? You mean guys do business or guys do this exercise? Can you explain to me, Nikki? Can you just come off mute and ask that question to me? She can't, okay. All right. So let's look at this. Is ego necessarily always considered a bad thing? No, ego is not a bad thing. Ego keeps you safe, but it keeps you separate. Okay, there's multiple purposes for the ego. But when your self-chatter is, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not beautiful, I'm not like her, I don't have enough, I never will have enough, that is the ego's negative side. The ego's positive side is I'm going to stop at the traffic lights. I'm going to indicate so I don't have a car crash. I'm going to shop for healthy food. I'm going to organise my money a little bit better, and so I can actually live for a long period of time and have enough at the end of my retirement. The ego's purpose is to keep us human, to have a human experience. But the real self is this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful organization of connection to everyone as humanity, to love at the highest level, to love ourselves at the highest level, to know that we are enough, that we are beautiful, that we are powerful beyond measure, that we can do great things, that there's infinite possibilities. So that's really, really powerful. Oh, thanks, Renee. Yep, okay, that's good clarity. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't know how to answer that question. So how do we keep out of the negative ego? Okay, do you know what? This is a really beautiful thing to talk about, because I had a period of time where I was really unhealthy. So I was not eating well. This was a long time ago, 20 years ago. I wasn't eating well. I was drinking too much. I was just a young girl that was partying after, university days. And my self-chatter was that I was fat, that I was ugly, that no one would ever love me. No man would ever love me. So what did my ego do? My ego went on a hunt for any man that would love me. And I chose all the wrong men, right? Then, when I was 26, I did a Louise Hay teacher training workshop. And she taught me that when the ego pops in and says something really yucky, ask yourself, would you say that statement to your best friend right now? Would I say to my best friend, you're never going to find love, you're ugly and you're fat? Can you imagine? But I say to myself, that is awful. So what I realized in that moment that I had to go, that thought does not belong here. Thank you, and send it away. Thank you, but that thought, yep, I acknowledge you up there, ego, but that thought is not necessary. It does not light me up. It does not take me to my full capacity. It does not help me believe in infinite possibilities, and it does not make me feel loved. Thank you, but no thank you. And you just keep sending them away. And then every time you hear a thought like that, replace it. No, I'm beautiful, I'm wonderful, I'm powerful, I'm creative, I'm a great leader, I'm loved by everybody. I'm loved by myself. I am lovable, I am real, I am kind. I can do good things. And that's when you start to make real self more powerful than ego, you've won. And I believe it's a 51-49 split. If you can just get your 51% of your mental chatter, you have won. You are going to be on fire. You are going to be more powerful. The universe is going to respond to that positivity. Because when I say I attract amazing women into my business, I make wonderful connections, I have beautiful friends, this is what I have. And we were having this conversation last night with a couple of my girlfriends. I did the weirdest thing. I went to a party last night after my course, and I got there one day early. The party's actually tonight, and I turn up with my food and my kombucha, and and they start laughing, going, "In that party's tomorrow night." So anyway, I thought, okay, well everything happens for a reason. I stayed for a few months of wine or kombucha, I like to shop. So we stayed, and we had this amazing conversation about the ego and real self. And we talked about how when we were 19, 20, 21, the self-chatter was violent, nasty. And then when we got to 30, it quieted down, and when we get to 40, it really quietens down. But as we treat our bodies badly and eat terrible food, eat too much sugar and wheat and yeast and gluten, that self-chatter can be very dramatic. And the way that we can intelligently connect to self is to eat plants, because plants are intelligent and they reflect the same energy of the cells in the body. So the more plant-based nutrition, more green smoothies, green juices, salads, more bone broth or veggie broths with heaps of vegetables, more vegetable curries with quinoa. The more we eat that, we vibrate on a higher level. And so say on my spiritual nutrition program, I'm talking about the intelligence of plants, meeting the intelligence of yourself and creating a spark of energy. That's right. And so the more I treat my body better, the more I love myself. And I'm a 40-year-old single mother. And I can have terrible self-chat around we've met everybody, and we're doing a good job with my son, and we're providing him enough. That chatting is completely right. But what I do each and every day is eat well, treat myself well, get into Mother Nature, and follow real conversations with real women, speak my truth, have a mentor, teach, coach, and train myself, ask to know to reflect that input, and I get my well, and I laugh at all my failures. Every time I fail, I just laugh. I go, what an idiot. And just make your failures funny. Fail funny and fail forward. Like, you're only failing, not failing forward. Something is that we all have ants curling through our brains, automatic negative thoughts. I love that. And that the antidote to ants is I am statements. Yes, very, very true. And also too, what I've learned because of all my education is that when we have things like fungal infections, systemic inflammation, this creates more ants. So, you know, your cell is beautiful. It has a mitochondria in it, which is your energy center, positivity, growth, health, immune health, nervous health, digestive health, and then it has DNA. And like the more plants we eat, more water we drink, more air we breathe, more sun we get, the intelligence of that cell is protected and the energy of that cell is increased. But when we put in wheat, gluten, dairy, we put in sugar, it becomes toxic and it becomes sluggish, and our thoughts become lazy, like, can't be bothered. Has anyone ever done this? I can't be bothered being positive. Like, you almost resist being positive. Like, I can't. I'd rather just stay in the story. I'd rather just sit on the couch with my chips, watching The Bachelor, you know, living out someone else's pathetic, you know, reality dreams, you know. And it's the thing is, right, there's nothing wrong with Bachelor, by the way, and the new Australian Bachelor is really hot, you know. But the thing is, sometimes we can, living vicariously through other people rather than living vivaciously in ourselves and with other people. Like, don't live vicariously through anyone, live vivaciously. That was Brittany. Brittany, I am so in love with everything that you're talking about here. You're actually asking great questions and you're feeding some really good conversation here. Could I share more affirmations that I say to myself? Okay, so these are what I say in business. I attract incredible women to men. I attract honest, truthful, real, authentic women. I have the most incredible friends. I'm a wonderful, powerful, insightful mother. I have more money than I could possibly ever dream of, and I get to contribute at the highest level. I'm a powerful mentor for women around the world, and men, but mostly women. I'm beautiful inside and out. I am a sexy, hot mama. You know, I say things like that, but that's really hard for me to say. Even when I say that one, I feel still, like my ego jumps in and goes, you're not sexy. So I have to be careful with those things. Saying I'm sexy still is something I'm working on. So when everyone, I believe I am a powerful mentor and I believe I'm a great businesswoman. I actually have that sort of belief. I also believe I'm one of the best food coaches in Australia. Now, that is not my ego talking. That's actually my real self talking. And that certainty has actually grown my business. So if you can find that level of certainty, you will be great. Just own it. Just own it. Just say, you know, I am one of the most caring individuals on the planet. I attract incredible souls into my life. I have wonderful friends. People love to be around me. These are the things, but still, I'm still working on this other thing, you know? Finding true love, having a man see me. So I'm being really vulnerable and real. That ego of mine says, the one doesn't exist. You know? So I had to stop that self-chatter and say, Natalie, you are attracting this man into your life. He's just waiting for you to get ready. You know? So please know that even I go on a journey with this. And when I say to myself, I'm not a good mum, such as being with naughty, I say, no, you're a great mum with your struggles like everybody else at times. And this is his learning. This is our learning. And we'll get through this. Please know that you're moms. Please know that. They're all going to need coaching and counselling just like we do. But you can't break them. They're super resilient. And they're more resilient and more malleable than we are. We're kind of like stuck. Especially when we get to 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, we can't really. Rigid. Eat more plants, breathe more air, dance more, paint more, love more, have more real conversations with great time. Okay, so this is really good, Nikki. How can guys create talks and events, and how can they do business in their values? Okay, so we do beer and burgers events. Blokes, beers and burgers. Blokes is an Australian term. If you want to use it, it's really fun. Blokes means mates or boys or men. We also do mental health talks. We do mental health talks for men. So we've got men that have had depression that don't now in our business who are orchestrating men's mental wellbeing talks. And these are amazing. Justin Borg, he lives in his values as a functional fitness coach. So he does free workouts and nutrition talks at the end. We have guys like Adam Westwick who just speaks in the empowerment of business and vision, and so does Brian Marsh, who's going to be speaking, or he might have spoken, I don't know. But Brian Marsh is actually really, really powerful, a really powerful speaker on vision. And so he stays true to himself. And for most of you who may not realise, he's a very, very Christian man. And his values is community. So he talks about the community and the vision that the community has created. So it's just it's languaging really. But then creating events that like love. Like, do you want to have an event where you do launch protein balls, but you're kind of like a football jock? No. But you might go to the pub and do a beer and burgers and blokes event, you know, and how to get better fitness results from food and do it at the pub. How to create your own food program for athletes. How to reduce systemic inflammation for athletes. You know, so there's so many things that you can do. What is my routine like? Oh, I love this question. Okay, so my routine is I wake up by 5:30 a.m. I drink a big glass of water. I meditate till 6. I go to the gym or I walk for an hour. I swim in the ocean. It's freezing, but it lights me up and it brings about the most amazing energy to my body. Then I come home and I'm a mama and get Taj to school. And then when he goes to school, I make myself, by the way, when I get home with Taj, I make myself a massive green smoothie or a smoothie bowl, or, you know, I do eggs and greens. I have something green which is light, which is chlorophyll and oxygen that I put in my body. And then from 9 o'clock onwards, I just work. So I call it a work day from 9 till 3. And when my son comes home, we do all kids sport and we do all fun things and I check out. And then at 7:30, he goes to bed at 8:30, but at 7:30, I've done everything, dishes, everything's clean, and then I get back on the Zoom call. Or I paint. So that's what I do. I go to quiz nights, see my friends, I do stuff for myself. I jump on Zoom calls with Tamara. We educate, we train. I do a lot of events. I do an event called Doctor and Foodie tomorrow. Once a week. I do events in the gym with Justin. We do a lot of in-home events in my home, so I might do 1 or 2 of those a week, daytime, nighttime ones. But other than that, when I say I work, I'm sorry, this is the truth of our business. I'm on phone. I'm calling my customers. I'm saying to them, you know, you're having wonderful results on the product. There must be anything noticing. So your husband's noticing? I think it's time that he maybe tried Just Plus. Is it time that I come to visit the house and I share with you our food program and maybe get you guys up into a shred 10 or a Kickstart 10? You know, I'm just on the phone all the time. And I also do a lot of meetups. So I go to a lot of meetups and I go to a lot of events, a lot of free events, and I go make new friends all the time. I even go to really intelligent, good, super great therapists, and everyone's a doctor or a lawyer or a geophysicist or an astrophysicist or whatever they are, and I am just like, hi, I like fruits and vegetables. But I ask so many questions and I don't really get into it for myself. I just want to know about people, and then that's how I make a lot of really good connections. Oh, my routine on my way to 100 Club. No sleep, no food, like this, 12, 14 hours a day. Are you kidding me? Come on, guys, this is hard work. Getting to 100 Club is hard work. I'm not going to tell you any lies, right? This is a business. This isn't fluffy. This isn't like, oh, I'll just attract this amazing team and do meditation every day. This is hard work. This is doing the action, and this is calling people, right? We had 350 new customers this month from last month. So, you know, we have a cap every month that we make, and it's been like that for a few months. We thought, well, let's just drive this thing home. And I was on the phone every single day to team, helping them, doing 3-way calls. And we went mental for a month, and we got an extra 350 customers from me stepping up. Not them. Me, I'm the leader. I'm going to do the action, so they join me. They hear me on calls, doing 3-way calls. They go and do the same thing. They get excited. They get off the phone and go, that was amazing. Thanks, Natalie, so much. I'm going to call my other friend. Can I get you on a call? And I go, sure, go. Bang. And it's like this. It's hard work. It's not easy. Like, I didn't just get here because I had confidence. The girls know me. 7 years, 8 years ago when I met them, I was a fun girl. I didn't have the confidence that I have, and the confidence I have is because action precedes growth, not personal growth. We'll give you the action. Like, do the work, bring people, care about people, love people, give value, give value, give value, give value, share recipes, go to their house, take the bone broth if they're sick, love on people. And don't just think that, like, calling one person a day is a business. What you've got is a hobby. A business, to get to 100 Club, you need to be calling between 20 and 30 people a day. You need to be using your teams. You need to be pushing yourself beyond your own recognition. You need to get rid of your old self and become your new self. You need to step into the woman that you were designed to be. And it's hard, and you're going to fall on your face. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I think some of us need a wake-up call. It's not easy. This is hard, but it's also fun. And it also lights you up, and the emotional revenue is 10 times that than anything else I've ever done in my life. And this is my calling, and I know that. So if you know this is your calling, get out of your own way and start stepping into the space. You deserve it. They need you. Have the difficult conversations and don't be afraid of a no. It's not a no. You're just not ready. I don't text people and I don't message people. Because 9 times out of 10 people can politely refuse or ignore you. I call people because I'm a human. And I get really emotional about this. Do not invite me to your wedding on Facebook because I am not coming. It's a wedding. It's the most intimate and emotional time of your life. Send me a paper invitation and I will pick it up and go, oh, I've been selected to be your one person that gets invited to see you celebrate the most amazing time of your life. Like, I'm going to your wedding, even if it's in Mexico. People are craving human interaction. Our business is human interaction. Our business booms when you get real, when you sit with somebody, when you have a real conversation. Now, if you're doing it all on social media, that's fantastic. You've got to do it on social media, take it offline. You meet them that way and you meet them in person. Right? Or you meet them on Zoom and talk like this and get to know them and love them and hook them up with people in their community. Like, give them love. Okay, when I call people, what do I say? It's different every time. Every human is different. But it's the same conversation. How are you? Truly, how are you? How are you feeling? What's been going on with your family? You know, I was thinking about you the other day and I was thinking, you know, I haven't been open and honest and transparent with you. You were talking about the divorce and I'm going to share mine. I thought maybe it might help you. Real conversations. Okay. Courtney, I have to go. I have to be somewhere in 10 minutes, so I'm going to have to go. Is that what everybody anticipated today?
You are amazing, Natalie. Thank you so much. I know you went a little longer than you thought you were going to need to go, so I hope we didn't make you late. And I love everything that you shared. Took so many notes. You guys, we never stop growing. We're always learning. And Natalie, your heart and your authenticity shines through my love, and I'm just so grateful for you. Thank you for all that you shared. I'm still learning and figuring out which categories to put my values in. That might be another.
I get it, and it's hard, right? But the thing is, don't overthink it, because next month, life could shift for you and the values could change, right?
Right.
So please just get 3 values down and start living in those. If they don't feel right, do the exercise again.
You're amazing. Thank you so much, Nat. We'll let you go. Thank you. We love you, love you, love you. All right.
I love you all. I'm so honored to be on the call today, and I just hope one of you changed something I said today. But if all of you got something from this today, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you.
We're in a room full, and I know there's thousands of others listening, and everybody's taking notes and looking at each other going, yeah. Amazing. Thanks, Nat. Love you, baby. So much. Bye. Bye. Thank you. All right, you guys. So we hope that this was valuable to you, and I love that, Natalie was showing that anything worth having takes work, right? But it takes work on ourselves, not just doing the personal development, reading the book, and going to the seminars, but actually doing the work. And that goes with any business that you're in, whether it's the Juice Plus business or whatever it is you're doing. And that said, if it's something else, make sure you're living in your values. And so I love that. So we really hope that tonight was valuable to you. What we are hoping that you all will do now is that we're going to move into vision boarding. We've got magazines, we've got scissors, glue sticks, and poster boards, but we also have our phones. So if you're not prepared to do maybe the cutting out of all the letters and pictures and stuff, feel free to do it on your iPhones or on your iPads or computers. You can make your vision board through technology. So don't hesitate. Don't let not having a magazine keep you from doing that. And then tomorrow morning, we are going to start. We're back here. We're going to leave this up for now, for a little while, you guys. So we'll be on. If you want to stay on, feel free to stay on because we're all going to be vision boarding together. We'll kind of keep it muted, but we'll check in. It's just fun to scroll through and see all of your friends. But tomorrow morning, we're going to start bright and early. If you're on the West Coast, anyway. So we did change the time a little bit, so we hope that this helps all of you. So tomorrow morning, we're going to do a technology check at 9:30 Eastern time.